Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. Jimmy Butler has brought new life to the Warriors. With great performances he has raised the level of the team, but he has suffered an injury and this is hindering the player. The Warriors want to sign a big star to pair with Stephen Curry and become NBA champions. To bring in a star player, they will have to get rid of Jimmy Butler and some other players and some picks. But paying the high price for Giannis Antetokounmpo is worth it, because the Warriors will have the most feared duo in the NBA. The Warriors want to sign Giannis Antetokounmpo to form a feared duo with Stephen Curry. I'm sorry. It's another Giannis trade article. I have friends who are Bucks fans. I feel no joy writing this. However, this is my job. Anyway, the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors. Not looking too bad in the first round so far, huh? They're up 3-2 over the Houston Rockets as the underdog in their 2-seed versus 7-seed series. Jimmy Butler came back quickly from what had the potential to be a serious injury. The defense is holding key Rockets players down. The team is coming back home for a potential series-clinching Game 6 tomorrow. This is all good. Maybe some would think this is the time to just sit back and be grateful. Once again the Warriors have defied time to look like a contender. Maybe not a Oklahoma City level contender, or a Cleveland or Boston level contender, but Golden State level contender. The type of contender that has Stephen Curry. Even these many years into his career with all the miles on his body, Steph is still liable to defy your defense for possession after possession when the moment strikes. So we're chill here, I think. Be grateful, right? Wrong. It's time to bring in Giannis. Golden State bringing in Giannis would put two birds in a bush or something. This Golden State Warriors team is a nice story and everything, but their stars are aging. Klay Thompson is already out the door. Getting Butler in was great, but he's older too. Then there are the younger guys like Pods, and Moody, and Kuminga. But they don't count. It's time to bring in Giannis. On Bleacher Report, Zach Buckley listed out 5 potential Giannis landing spots, highlighting Golden State as one of them. One quote is as follows: picks and prospects would be out the door, but a primary building block like Draymond Green or even Jimmy Butler could be involved too. So First of all, we have to ask, would the Bucks do this? Yes, they would, because Giannis would tell them to. Second of all, why would Giannis tell them to? Because trust me bro. So we agree it's all but guaranteed this trade will be going through. Good. Glad you're with me. That leaves the question of Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green potentially going out in the deal as well. The case for sending out Jimmy Butler is that he just kind of got there. Sure, he's fine, but falling from 6 feet in the air onto your tailbone is one of those things that once it happens once, it just keeps happening more and more. It might be good to get out early. Plus, he's not really had time to really ingratiate himself to San Francisco. Maybe fans would be like, yeah. Whatever. The case for sending out Draymond Green, however, is far simpler. Draymond has been around the Bay Area for years. For championships, multiple All-Stars, part of something called the Death Lineup, which is wild to think about. It's hard to believe there's a Warriors fan who has not developed some deep associations with Draymond at this point. Luckily, I imagine all of those associations are bad because Draymond is really annoying. So in this trade the Warriors would not only save the trouble of managing picks and prospects by trading a bunch away, not only would you get Giannis, but a really annoying guy wouldn't be there anymore. It's like when a Chipotle with really suspect barbacoa shuts down and gets replaced with a Pancheros. I don't see who wouldn't be happy with this. Maybe Bucks fans because they might have Draymond and no other reason. Outside of that, this seems like a win-win. We get a star off of one of those pesky small market teams and make the people who don't seem to really like basketball all that much but still make money off of it very happy. Why Moses Moody, Warriors bench offers positives from ugly Game 5 versus Rockets. Moses Moody and Warriors bench led comeback that came up short, but it still gave Golden State a spark of energy going into Game 6. There wasn't much to be positive about 3/4 of the way through Game 5 from the Golden State Warriors' perspective. Down 31 points with 10:59 left in the third quarter and Steve Kerr ready to pull the plug, the Dubs were more than ready to lick their wounds and gear up for a dangerous closeout Game 6 back in San Francisco. But then the end of the bench checked in and did the best thing the end of the bench can do in a blowout: agitate the other team. Led by Moses Moody, Pat Spencer, Tracy Jackson-Davis, Kevin Knox, and Braxton Key, they forced Ime Udoka to put his starters back into the game with a 12-2 run to start the fourth quarter. Jimmy Butler described the performance of this ragtag group of reserves and fringe G-Leaguers, with Moody mixed in there, as inspiring in his post-game press conference. "Kudos to those guys for fighting, for not giving up, and always staying ready because you never know when your number is gonna be called, and it was tonight," Butler said. "They played their asses off." With the Houston starters completely cold after being thrust back into a game they believed they had won, the ragtag Dubs cut the Rockets' lead down to 13 points with 5:02 left in the game. The cherry on top came when Jackson-Davis shoved Alperen Sengun for getting into the face of Spencer. Spencer was the only one ejected from the game, but Candace Parker on the TNT broadcast said it best: "Golden State will proudly take a swap of Jackson-Davis and Sengun, no offense." After the loss, Draymond Green shared his reaction to the altercation with Sengun. "That was beautiful. We don't back down from anybody. And we didn't, so I like it," Green said with a wide smile. The silver linings and dealing with the Rockets' threats. At the end of the day, the Warriors lost, which sets up a dangerous Game 6 at the Chase Center. Golden State does not want to have to get on a plane and fly back to Houston for a winner-takes-all Game 7 in a hostile environment. They have to get Game 6, and that starts with solving some of the serious issues the Rockets have posed in these last two games. It starts with the Rockets' zone defense. The Rockets are playing the percentages. They are packing the paint and daring anyone not named Stephen Curry or Buddy Hield to shoot from beyond the arc. And the Warriors' non-shooters are not punishing them when given the opportunity. On the flip side, Fred VanVleet is torching the Dubs from beyond the arc. In the last two games, he is 12 of 18 from deep. The Warriors' perimeter defenders are not bothering him enough. He's been in full control of getting to his spots and spotting up for three, both of which have been breaking the Warriors' defense. But in search of answers to dealing with the Rockets in Game 6, Moses Moody is a good place to start. Moody led the charge in the Dubs' reserve second-half scare, collecting 21 points during that run. The Rockets' zone defense has the Warriors in the danger zone. Golden State Warriors, the NBA's worst team against zone defense this season, must find a way to break through against it in Game 6. The league's illegal defense rule prohibited the ability to defend a space on the floor, in general. It was a ridiculous regulation that was justly scrapped and replaced with a defensive 3-second call, ushering in an era of double teams, overloads, and icy defending. It's up to you to decide how far the sport has come or how far it has strayed from the righteous path. But whether you think zone is for cowards or it's a hallmark of the best era of the game, what's clear is that it's front and center for this series. Blame the Warriors for flooding this series with zone. They're frequent practicers of the once forbidden defenses, using 1-3-1 and 2-3 looks, typically with their second unit, and particularly since Jimmy Butler's arrival from Miami, where the Heat were the league leaders in zone for the last few seasons. And the Warriors' zone has been successful in recent weeks. It was unquestionably a valuable weapon against the Rockets and their suspect shot-making early in this series. But the Rockets had been experimenting with zone defense, too. Egged on by former assistant coach Will Hardy and encouraged by the tactics he used with the Celtics against the Warriors in the 2022 NBA Finals, Rockets coach Ime Udoka pulled the lever and unleashed Houston's double-big zone defense, in earnest, in Game 4 and for whatever portion of Game 5 he felt it was competitive. With cinderblock center Steven Adams camping in the lane so long he should need a permit and Alperen Sengun free to hang out in the corner, where he can do little damage to the Rockets' five-man defensive unit, the double-big 2-3 zone has limited the Warriors to a paltry 94 points per 100 possessions over the last two games. The Warriors, in general, look flummoxed against zone on offense. In the past, when the Dubs had Andrew Bogut, Zaza Pachulia, or David West, they would be able to break a zone with ease. The Dubs' triangle-inspired motion offense could run the ball through those centers in the high post, which is where you want to attack this kind of zone defense. But now that the Dubs are focusing on spacing and running much of their offense off a low-post split-action look or double-drag perimeter screens, they're playing right into the defense's strength. Per Golden State of Mind's Joe Verre, citing Synergy Sports, the Warriors were the worst team against zone defense in the NBA this season. We saw this manifest on Wednesday, with the Warriors spending entire possessions passing lazily around the perimeter, only for Butler, at best, to take a forced end-of-shot clock attempt. Rare was the possession where the ball found the paint. The Rockets, it should be noted, weren't much better against zone to start the series, though they adapted to the Warriors' defense by running the ball through Sengun in the high post. His Game 4 performance was a zone-busting game. So, how do the Warriors bust the Rockets' zone? Well, how healthy is Jimmy Butler? The Dubs' game-changing trade deadline acquisition can barely move out following a deep glute muscle contusion. Yes, that's seriously bruised, but you'd be moving slow, too. His lack of any explosion whatsoever on most possessions puts the Dubs at a significant disadvantage against zone looks, because the ideal way to break them up is to have Butler operating out of the high post or to have him, as the team's secondary ball handler and mid-range ace, to be able to dribble to his spot on the floor and rise. Until Butler proves he can do that, it's on Brandon Podziemski to take on the off-the-dribble creation, something he did well in Game 4, and Draymond Green to be the high-post operator, something the Warriors have been hesitant to do. There's also the short roll, which the Warriors used effectively in Game 3, where the Rockets didn't use an Adams Sengun zone. Gary Payton too destroyed the Rockets with the paint wide open, but that paint is much more clogged with Adams there. So while the short roll, be it with Payton or Green, effectively puts the ball in the middle of the lane, what do the Warriors do with it then? The dunker spot will, in all likelihood, be covered. Can Pods or Green hit floaters consistently? Then there's the option of going with inverted screens, with Curry trying to free up Quentin Post for an open three-pointer. But this is the closeout game in the playoffs. Can you trust a rookie to win you a game on offense? And can you trust him on the other end of the floor? The Warriors are aware of all of these options, and more. But they have little, if any, time to implement a new tactic and will have to fight not only through Houston's youthful zeal on defense, but also their own tired, let's call them experienced legs on offense. If the Warriors want to advance to the second round, they'll have to beat the zone. It might force them to go out of their comfort zone. And if they can't do it on Friday, at home, where role players so often have their best games, it's hard to imagine a Game 7 on Sunday being the breakthrough performance.